Hello, my name is Mandisa,
Hi, I'm Camill Morgan.
And I'm Cecily Rivers.
and today we'll be talking about character checks in the workplace.
Smallbusinesses.com explains character in the workplace sets the tone for how your small business operates. When considering character and the impact you may have on your small business, examine the core values often related to character. This includes operating in the trustworthy manner, demonstrating respect at every opportunity, and taking responsibility for your actions. Beyond these, showing concerns and doing the right thing, even when difficult, represents characteristics found in individuals living and operating in an ethical manner. According to ResourceNation.com, a character reference is different from a work reference in that an employer may want to understand more about your personality outside of your work style and accomplishments. A character reference may be requested if you are working with sensitive populations such as elderly or disabled, or for an organization where group work is critical. It's important that you line up character references before they're asked of you. Forbes.com says employers already know it's a good idea to check job candidates' Facebook pages to make sure that there aren't any horrible red flags there. The readiness flags for most employers seem to be drugs, drinking, bad-mouthing former employers, and lying about one's qualifications. But there's another good reason for checking out candidates' Facebook pages before inviting them to an interview. It may be a fairly accurate reflection of how good they'll be at doing the job.
Thank you so much for coming in. I mean, you're a hard man to get hold of. The only contact numbers we had for you were just addresses of payphones in Baltimore.
Yeah, well, I had to get rid of all my burners, so.
Oh, sure. Okay, well, looking at your resume, quite impressive. Top 15% of your class. Let's see, you minored in classics?
Yep, no major.
No major at all, yeah, just one big minor. Mm-hmm. And then consumed 60 Swedish meatballs while dressed as Mussolini.
Yeah.
So can you explain that as like a Greek life thing?
My advisor said to be specific, so I wanted to do something to help me stand out a little.
Okay.
I mean, I've done it. I don't know how many other people have.
Not that many. And it looks like you have some community theater experience. You did some plays.
Yeah, I did a one-man show about Sacco and Vanzetti where I played both Sacco and Vanzetti, and I added a lot of gay shit.
Sounds very far removed from the original thing.
Well, okay.
I just want to make you aware, we do a very light background check of all of our prospective employees. Something that a quick Google search would reveal about you. I don't want to say that any red flags popped up, especially because Mr. Buchwald recommended you so highly. I hope it's all right if I bring up your Facebook profile here.
Yeah.
I guess my first question is about your profile picture.
The one of me and my mother? God, I love her. I have that picture framed on my mantle.
It's you naked doing a keg stand holding, like just brandishing what appears to be a live snake.
Yeah, no, my mom is in that picture. She's holding up my legs. It's my cousin's christening.
Oh, I'll tell you what, there she is. Cousin's christening?
Yeah, little Anthony.
Okay, well, maybe you could shed some light onto this album, the full photo album in which you are draped in nothing but the Italian flag, snorting cocaine with your friends, watching Life is Beautiful on a television set, and you're fully erect, I might add.
It's taken completely out of context. It was for a photo essay for the school zine, so that's all that was.
I suppose we're mostly curious why you chose to share that album with every member of 1 Million Strong for Cancer Research.
It's just stupid privacy settings. I don't know.
Well, there must be some explanation for this video where you're spraying a 10-year-old boy with a garden hose until he chugs a Smirnoff Ice on one knee.
Yeah, I ice blocked him. The kid's dead now anyway. Unrelated incident.
This is you giving something called a stone cold stunner to what appears to be a vagrant.
I'm giving a British bulldog to what? Yes, he's a homeless person.
I feel the need to tell you that my assistant filed for workers' compensation after she saw this next photo of you and the girl from Precious.
What is this, a Ponzi scheme or something? Where are the cameras?
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know what that means.
Hey.
That's Fonzie.
You're thinking of Potsy.
Potsy's in Happy Days. Fonzie is who you just impersonated. Ponzi scheme is a way to extort money from people.
Okay, well, looks like we jumped the whale.
All right. There's a wall post here that you wrote to someone listed only as Turkey Burger. Is that a friend of yours?
Best friend. And I guess technically also my uncle.
So he is your uncle?
Yeah, he's my mom's brother, but he lives with my dad.
Okay, well, it reads, Yo, Turk, straight up plugged that fug last night. Legit great gilf status on this one. Gray hairs and everything, bro. The broad had crow's feet big enough to wear Air Jordans.
It was the San Gennaro Festival. She was a friend of my Nona.
The well was pretty dry, so I did some drilling offshore. Let's just say the Gulf ain't the only place in need of a major cleanup now. I fed her seafood while she clapped like Andre the Seal and begged for dispersant.
with all due respect, I just
Found swordfish sliders in the sheets this morning if you want to do lunch later. Please leave.
Okay. I've won 4 J.D. Power and Associates awards.
Get out of my office.
Wow, what a question. I think we'll be trying to measure the impact social networking has had on employment screening for the next 10 years. Organizations across the board struggle with how to use it properly, how to use it in a compliant fashion. And background screening firms like Proforma, we struggle in the same way. On one hand, there is all this information out there, and we know that everybody has access to it, and it could potentially be valuable. On the other hand, there's all this information out there, and some of it could potentially be defamatory, it could be discriminatory. And we recognize that the reason we're doing background screening is to try to reduce risk. So one of the challenges with social media is the ability to ascertain what is really true. Oftentimes, what looks on the surface to be a party and a plastic cup full of beer might really not be. And we really don't have a mechanism by which we can get to the bottom of that. And one of the challenges as a background screening firm is, we have an obligation under the Fair Credit Reporting Act to report accurately and completely at the authoritative source. So one of our struggles is, how exactly is it we do that, in this new environment. So I think the biggest impact social media can have in a positive way for human resource professionals is in recruiting. My belief is that that's the place where you get the biggest bang for your buck. You increase your networking, you increase your eyeballs, so to speak, on that opening or that opportunity within your organization. And while it might really be tempting to look somebody up on Facebook or one of the other media outlets, it's probably not a good idea in the long run from an HR perspective.
Moving on. A new court case is putting spotlight on the blurring lines between your professional life and your personal life when it comes to the wild world of social media. The case involves a woman who was fired from her job because she posted negative comments about her supervisors on Facebook. And according to reports, this employee got into a major argument with her boss at work, then decided to vent all of her frustrations on her Facebook wall. But when the bosses found out, she got the boot because her company has a policy against employees making negative comments about their jobs on social networking sites. Now, this case is still working through a lot of technicalities, but it does bring up a pretty good point. Do you have the right to say whatever you want on social networking sites? Can you talk a little smack about your boss or a coworker after a hard day's work? Facebook and other social media platforms, they were originally designed for individuals to communicate with one another. No restrictions or regulations, just hop online and tell the world whatever you want. But since everybody now has a cyber footprint, it's easy to forget that when you comment on something, anybody can see it. It is no longer private. What if I had a bad day at my job and my boss really pissed me off? Can I just come up with a nasty little comment? Could I say, have I mentioned that my boss is an arrogant bastard and doesn't give a rat's ass about his employees? If I made a comment like that, would I be violating my company's policies or just looking for a way to vent? Either way, consider this a reminder to you that everything you do online can come back to haunt you in the real world. So use some common sense, people. If you really value your job, don't go online and criticize your superiors. Otherwise, your next wall post will read, anybody know of someone who's hiring?
There are multiple causes of the issue when it comes to character checks. Forbes.com also says that employers want to know the employee will flip out on them, care about completing tasks, be fun to work with, be creative in problem solving, and be willing to kiss up when necessary. CheckAmerica.com also says that whether you are the CEO, the supervisor, an employee, or a line worker, the impact of character and behavior in the workplace can be significant. Research shows that Hiring the wrong person can harm sales, harm stock prices, worsen employee fraud, worsen employee absenteeism, cause dissension and lack of trust among employees in the workplace.
A lot of my friends have two Facebook profiles, one for their personal lives and one for their professional lives. I must say, I don't know how I feel about that. It seems kind of dishonest. At the same time, I don't want potential employers poking around my vacation pictures. What do you think about it? Is it wise? Do employers really check Facebook profiles before they hire someone?
They absolutely do. I check them before we hire people.
Really?
Yes, of course. So first things first, your LinkedIn and your Facebook profile, consider them work profiles. Sorry. It's so important that you take down all that information, your party pictures. Don't let people tag you. My Facebook profile is basically a big black box. You see one picture, that's it, because I don't want people to be able to tag photos of me. And I think it's just really important in this day and age. Of course, employers are checking your Facebook profile before they hire you. If you do want to have a place where you can share information, you could go through the laborious process of setting up different blocking settings. But again, I would just say it's just not worth the risk. I know many people have been fired because of things that have ended up on their Facebook page. So I just think it's really important, and I'd say the answer is it's just not worth it. And I'd make them all professional profiles.
Do you have information on your Facebook page you don't want certain people to see? Well, as you know, you can limit the information you share publicly, but some employers are now asking job applicants to open up their profiles in order to get hired. It's almost a given. Employers across the country are heading straight to your Facebook page before they hire. And now comes word that some businesses are asking for your private login information so they can get an unfiltered look at just about everything. Friends, pictures, videos. College students who will soon be looking for work are quickly learning to clean it up.
Honestly, it wouldn't really bother me. It's basically, I look at it as a way to network with future employers. It's just pictures of who I am, basically, you know, just trying to figure out what is Vernon Offord about? What does he like to do?
His profile is already public. Other than some school performances and events, he says he doesn't have much to hide.
I think when certain users have a private setting, it's kind of like, man, you know, what is he trying to hide, or what is he trying to conceal?
That's exactly what Dougherty County, Georgia Police Captain Jimmy Sexton thinks. He says it's perfectly legal to ask prospective employees for their login information.
If someone asks for it and they voluntarily submit it, then I think it's fine. Any public information that they put out there, we're certainly going to look at it.
Not to mention the extensive background check they already perform. Albany, Georgia city officials recently discussed implementing Facebook as part of their screening process when hiring new employees.
We cannot be arbitrary, we have to be fair, but we also have to move along with the world of today and look at these things so that we make sure we get the best candidates who don't have baggage we don't want.
But handing over your password, is it smart even to a trusted employer? Blake Sabatinelli is the executive producer for ABCActionNews.com.
I would never give anyone, including my parents, a login to my Facebook or Twitter account. You never know what can get put out there. You never know what someone can say that could get you fired or not hired in this case.
As for Alford, he's going to continue to keep his profile public and safe for employers to see, hoping he can land a good job.
What are the different points of views? On the website debate.org, they posted a question and asked their readers, do prospective employers have the right to poke around potential employers' profiles on social networking sites? 55% say yes, 45% say no. One reader stated, I believe that a person's home life should be their home life and their work should be their work. So employers should not go snooping. What a person does on a social networking site should be limited to the group of people in their social network. Employers should worry about what their employees are doing at work and that their job is being done properly, instead of what they are doing in their home life. As long as a person is doing their job, their home life shouldn't matter. While another reader says yes, prospective employees have the right to poke around potential employees' profiles on social networking sites because the sites are public. If a person is concerned about potential employers snooping around, then he or she should take down anything that is not appropriate. Companies are people that consider their impressions, and social network profiles are an effective tool to get an impression of what a person is like in their comfort zone.
There's someone who I'm seeking a job for, doing, I guess, Facebook checks. It could be a good and a bad thing. I feel like it can be a good thing because how the job market is today, like it's so competitive, it's really hard to find a job. Like once you go into an interview, you know, anyone can go in there and put their best foot forth and just create this new persona of themselves and just try to sell their image and be something that they're not. But I mean, as far as the employer doing the checks, they can get the real you, the unscripted you. Like it's honest, it's raw. Like I think that can help me, someone who has like a clean background versus someone who does all those things.
If you were in a job interview and the employer asked you to log into your Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter just to get a feel of how you were right on site, would you do it? Why or why not?
I would say I would do that because I don't really have anything to hide on those social networking sites, and I would only look at it as being a boost for the job that I am acquiring.
I'm kind of iffy on it, honestly. I feel like it's a good thing because, like you said, you need to know who you're hiring. You need to know who's working for you. You need to get a background of the person. But I think it can be bad because most employers use it to their disadvantage, especially for the person seeking the position. Like, say, for instance, you had a misdemeanor or something that was probably expunged off of your record. The employer isn't going to care. They're just going to say, oh, well, they're going to immediately consider you as a statistic and just throw you and your information out of there.
Basic action steps are to do the right things in life and not have any social media accounts. However, if you choose to have social media accounts, you can have a professional and a personal account to separate business from pleasure.
Another action step that companies can use is to notify employees when they're going to do media checks so that it gives the employee enough time to get their profiles together before the employer goes on and looks at them.
Lastly, the government can implement a bill where companies will be required to do universal background checks. Universal background checks amongst all companies will make it that no one feels like they are being attacked, since it will be a social norm for companies to be implementing universal background checks for everyone.